1. The hidden language of reality. Do you hear it? The cosmos whispers through the cracks of your everyday world. Reality is not as solid as the tomb they painted. In fact, even Einstein hinted at the unreality of time itself. For those of us who believe in physics, the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. If time bends, what of space? What of life? You step into a world layered with hidden meaning. The sages of old knew this. The Emerald Tablet declared, "That which is above is like to that which is below, and that which is below is like to that which is above." In other words, your microcosm mirrors the macrocosm. The secret is inscribed in the stars and in your cells. Yet it is veiled. For Vivekananda and the Vedantins, this veil is Maya, illusion and reality at once. As Swami Vivekananda explained, Maya is not illusion as it is popularly interpreted. Maya is real, yet it is not real. That which is real in Maya is the reality in and through Maya, hence that which is seen is unreal. Imagine that the world you see is a stage of shadows cast by a hidden lamp. Your every sense is like looking at a shadow puppet show. Only the edges move, never the fire. If the fire itself is the truth behind the show, then the images before you are both real and unreal. What if this very documentary you listen to is a key unlocking a code? What if reality itself is a language, secret, symbolic, woven beneath the surface? The ancient Gnostics hinted at this. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you and outside of you, says the Gospel of Thomas. The treasure is not in a distant future or foreign sky, but within your own chest. When you know yourself, everything else clicks into place. And yet, most souls sleep on. The language is written on every petal and horizon, but most are deaf. No comfort is offered yet. This is a wake-up call disguised as a whisper. The world is teaching you to see only surfaces, while meaning swims beneath. 2. The system that trains you to ignore. All your life, something has been pulling down the curtain on your vision. From childhood, you were schooled to memorize facts, not to heed your gut. Society taught you to trust only what can be measured and to write off everything else as fantasy. But what if these are the very prejudices Jung warned about? As Jung once said, small and hidden is the door that leads inward. It sounds grotesque when anyone speaks of hidden doors, dreams, and a world within. You live in a world hungry for huge solutions, politics, economics, gadgets, and deaf to the language of symbols. The media and common sense do not want you to think there is any truth beyond the five senses. Science is taught as ruling all reality, and anything it can't catch is labeled pseudoscience. You are taught, ignore the nudges of intuition, dismiss coincidences as mere chance, and clutch the worldview handed to you. The door to inner revelation stays locked, barred by countless assumptions and fears. Every day the system whispers, there is no mystery here. Move along. Even your mind celebrates logic as God. But in that logic, you are blinded. If everything is chalked up to numbers and cause and effect, you lose the signal in the noise. The voices of the unquantifiable, wonder, or synchronicity are silenced by textbooks. You have been trained to ignore your inner compass. This section of illusion is your training ground. Do not believe anything until it is proven. Do not ask why your heart stirs at midnight. And yet, the heart remembers what the mind forgets. 3. What they don't want you to know. They say believe what you see, but what if seeing isn't believing? The most dangerous truths are unspoken. The system wants you to stay comfortable in the illusion. They don't want you to know that the world is alive with meaning. They prefer you busy with trivial day-to-day puzzles, so you never notice the one puzzle at the center of all, you. They don't want you to know the power that lies dormant in your gaze. The Gospel of Thomas cuts through the lie. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you and outside of you. When you come to know yourselves, then you will be known, and you will realize that you are the children of the living Father. In other words, everything they advertise as out there, peace, power, truth, begins within. Yet they have spent ages pointing your focus outward. Religion, politics, science, all lure you into worshipping the marketplace instead of the temple within. They don't want you to know that the laws of matter are not the final authority. If even Einstein admits that the stream of time is illusion, then the hard edges of your normal life may be softer than you think. If Tesla whispered that we are all one, only egos, beliefs, and fear separate us, then who are we when stripped of identity? The powers that be don't care for questions like these. It would be disastrous if you started decoding the hidden script they pretend doesn't exist. So they plaster reality with screens and noise. They drown out the subtle with the sensational. But your soul remembers. Every suppressed idea grows in the dark like a seed. In quiet moments, a shadow flickers, an inner voice stirs. This section builds tension. You have been poking holes in the bubble. You have seen cracks, now you see they widen. 4. The crack in the illusion. And here is the first crack. It was always there, you just didn't notice. A line of light sneaks through. One odd event, one question unanswered, and suddenly the world wobbles. Remember that night when everything you thought was solid melted into possibility? Maybe a dream showed you a future event, maybe you heard a song whose lyrics mirrored your unspoken thought. Whatever it was, it broke the spell. Jung tells of a rational patient dreaming of a golden scarab. As the story goes, while she spoke, a real scarab tapped at the window. "Here is your scarab," Jung said. That simple act shattered her logical fortress. In that instant her eyes cracked open. Science and myth collided in her lap. You have felt that too, when the uncanny becomes undeniable. You say to yourself, that was no coincidence. And you're right, some things conspire to awaken you. For the first time, you question reality's boundaries. The parts of your mind scream, it can't be. The deeper part whispers, this is the door. That moment of fracture is precious. It's as if a stone in your boot has finally given way. Suddenly the paved road has stones sharp enough to draw blood. But it's a blessing. The world is reminding you that it is more than a stage. The air tastes electric, your every sense is suddenly tickled by significance. Accept it. The crack is the beginning of vision. Carl Jung said it plainly, synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. You have become one of those people. 5 real experiences of synchronicity. The proof is all around you now. Those crazy coincidences were never accidental. They are meetings between your inner and outer worlds. Think of them as lights blinking on a secret panel. You turn the knob of intention and the dial of reality clicks. For example, have you ever been wildly, painfully, thinking of someone, and then they called from the other side of the country a minute later? Or dreamt of an old friend, then bumped into them in the street? Or seen the same number sequence on license plates, receipts, and phone clocks throughout a single day? Jung would smile, these are the very signs he studied. In the scarab case above, the patient's inner crisis summoned an outer sign to guide her. These moments are electric. They startle you into wondering, am I going crazy, or is the universe speaking? The answer, in this doorway, is that you are right to wonder. Your very soul is nattering at the cosmos, and it is speaking back. There is nothing spooky in it, it is simply meaning showing itself. Make no mistake, this is you touching infinity. These events are not random blips, they are waypoints on your journey. They demand attention. They beg you to connect the dots. And when you do, when you see the pattern, a chill runs up your spine. You realize you are not alone. The world is not inert. It is listening. It is responding. You begin to live by a new rhythm. A line of numerology, an uncannily apt phrase in a stranger's mouth, a butterfly landing on your hand, each seems plucked from thin air just for you. Each synchronistic flash opens a door. One leads to wonder, another to dread, perhaps. But dread, too, is better than numbness. Because now you're awake. And this section of experience invites you deeper, like a tunnel of glittering gems. 6. What is sending the messages? So who is doing this? If nothing is truly random, then what is orchestrating these uncanny events? The rational mind wants an answer. It reaches outward, is it fate, God, an alien, the economy, or the ghost of Carl Jung? The answer is both simpler and more profound. You are involved in co-creating it. Quantum physicist John Wheeler intuited it when he said the universe is not something out there independent of us. We are not only observers. We are participators. In some strange sense, this is a participatory universe. Every morning you look at the world, you are already stirring the soup. The sender of these messages may be your own subconscious, that vast ocean of instincts and symbols. Or it may be a collective mind, the great unconscious shared among us. Physics even suggests consciousness and reality are entwined like vines. Recall Einstein's gentle sneer, for us believing physicists, he said, it's all illusion. If you prefer, call it spirit. Call it the self, God, Tao, or just life's intelligence. The old traditions are full of this name without a name. The Gnostics said there is a living presence in every grain. As one saying warns, I will give you what no eye has seen, and what no ear has heard, and what no hand has touched, a promise of hidden experience beyond normal senses. Yes, something beyond the mundane is waking you up. Perhaps it is literally your higher self in disguise, training you. Perhaps it is synchronicity itself, call it the library of Thoth opening a book at your eye. Whatever you call it, the key is this: these messages arise from more than the five senses alone. And they converge meaningfully on you as if you had plotted the coordinates. Hence, it's not a rigged game by any outsiders, nor some tech trick. It's more like a conversation between levels of reality. The great silence around you is not silent after all, it hums with suggestion. Only, most people have their ear to the ground, you are learning to listen to the stars. 7. The hidden mechanics of synchronicity. Now let's lift the hood. How could two events, thought A and occurrence B, hook together without a normal cause? Jung called it a causal connecting principle. In his words, it's a meaningful coincidence of two or more events where something other than the probability of chance is involved. Imagine reality as a great web of analogies. Every thought you have sends ripples. Every object around you is a symbol dressed in matter. Your mind is part of a vast hologram. So when your heart whispers a desire, something in the field responds by arranging the surface of life to match. The engine is your attention and intention playing through a matrix of universal meaning. To put it another way, we are all connected by invisible threads. Nikola Tesla, prophet of subtle forces, said, "Our senses enable us to perceive only minute parts of the outer world. Our sight is obstructed by a wall and a shadow. Every synchronicity is like you peeking around that shadow. The vast portions of the tapestry that your five senses miss are now blazing truth at you." Another Tesla insight resonates: we are all one. Only egos, beliefs, and fears separate us. The wall between mind and world dissolves. This oneness means what touches you, touches the all. The mechanics are hidden by our conventional categories. There's no Google search for them. If there were, everyone would know. Instead, science reluctantly nods. Jung and Nobel laureate Wolfgang Pauli even hypothesized that psyche and matter share a common substrate. Something beyond cause and effect quietly tunes the stage, arranging the props at just the right moment. This is not conspiracy, there are no villains in lab coats. It's simply the universe playing by rules our conscious minds don't normally read. Like a secret programming language, it operates beneath the visible reality. This section is mystical but not supernatural, it's the hidden grammar of everything. 8. The subconscious and its role. Your subconscious is the astrologer, painting fate in broad strokes. It holds the map. Think of it as your inner library where signals are drafted before they beam out into existence. In fact, maybe it is the signal. You have vast intelligence under your hood, churning dreams and feelings to guide you. This inner realm is creative and crazy wise. It knows what you really want, even before your linear mind does. So when you are anxious about a life decision, the subconscious scribbles a note and slips it to reality. A call from a friend, a billboard you pass, a flash of wind through leaves, these are its handwriting. It's not random noise. Suppose you pray for direction. The reply comes not as a voice from the sky, but through a series of events that nudge you. That's your subconscious translating the cosmic response into human terms. Our tricks of the ego dim this channel. Critics say confirmation bias or apophenia. But those only apply if you don't test the patterns. It's one thing to try to see meaning everywhere, that's superstition. It's another to admit maybe, just maybe, some puzzles are genuine. Your subconscious makes connections that your linear consciousness misses. Einstein himself recognized something similar when musing over dreams and intuition. He was a believer in a block universe, but also admitted knowing inside of a letter to Bezos' family that the distinction between past, present and future is only an illusion. Even the world's greatest logician saw hints that a larger mind is at work. So yeah, your own mind is partly the messenger and partly the message. You flick a switch, and the light turns on. Your feelings tune the frequency, and the tower nearby broadcasts the signal. Your subconscious uses you to decode the code. In practice, pay attention to gut feelings, dreams, flashes of insight. Those are clues from the submarine currents of your psyche. Trust them. They are your own telepathy with the infinite. 9. Why most people don't experience synchronicities. If all this is true, why doesn't everyone see it? Because most remain locked in rational cages or asleep in routine. They have eyes, but they refuse to see. Why would they look when everything works well enough on the surface? Because most live in fear of these messages. A coincidence can upend everything. So as soon as something uncanny occurs, they say just chance, nothing to see here, and hurry away. The system cheers. Jung warned that modern mindsets are prejudice. The rationalists think reality ends at their microscope lens. It's blind arrogance. In his essay, Jung states bluntly, if things go wrong in the world, this is because something is wrong with the individual. In other words, if people were turned inward, the world would not seem so foreign. Instead, most attribute meaninglessness outside rather than question their own perspective. Others never tune in because they lack urgency. If life seems dull, if routines deliver safety and the cost of awareness is discomfort, why rock the boat? But a demon of boredom gnaws within. The soul knows when it has sold itself short. And yet, some quietly rebel. A joke in thread quotes Einstein's famous line on illusion. People dismiss it with a wink, but something in them smiles at the truth. Just a few are reaching. This is why Jung spoke not to nations but to the individual few, because those are the ears ready to hear. So many remain blind because the filter of society holds them down. The dogmatic say this is crazy talk, and they sink back. But you are reading this now. You have already seen through one blindfold. Be grateful for it. They are the walking dead, you are awake. 10. How to recognize and decode synchronicities. You've cracked the code. Now learn the alphabet. Synchronicity speaks in dreams, symbols, and intuition. Pay attention to anything that feels off normal. A book randomly opened at a paragraph that seems written just for you. A street number that repeats. A song lyric that answers your question. These are signposts, not hazards. Learn to slow your mind. Spend moments in silence. Meditation, journaling, walking in nature, these are like untangling the wires of a phone to hear the static whisper of the other line. Tesla told us, our senses enable us to perceive only minute parts of the outer world. Our sight is obstructed by a wall and a shadow. To see beyond that wall, you must poke a finger of curiosity through. Ask questions, even silly ones. Is there a message here? Am I being nudged to act? The mind will mock, but the heart will nudge. Synchronistic messages often arrive when you are facing a choice or crisis. Treat them as guidance, not random noise. But beware, too eager an interpretation can be wishful. The difference is subtle, real signs feel like a shock of truth, not a wishful dream. Keep a record. Write down surprising coincidences. Look for themes. Over time you will see patterns, a spider web of meaning emerging from a tangle of events. Then you can actually predict what questions your life might answer next. Also, dare to test the waters. Set an intention and see what unfolds. If you think, I could use a sign about this, do you get one? If so, the synchronistic channel is alive. And remember, gratitude and humility go far. Treat the messages not like trivial trivia but like sacred texts. They have been poured through your lens for a reason. 11. Using synchronicities for transformation. By now, you realize this is not just a sideshow, it's the main act of your awakening. Once you learn to surf these wave crests of meaning, you can steer your life. For Jungians, synchronicity is part of individuation, the soul's journey to wholeness. Each meaningful coincidence is a clue to a puzzle of your being. He insisted that coincidences bring insight and direction. Remember, they break walls. Use synchronicity like a roadmap. When choices appear miraculously clear, follow them fearlessly. When repeating patterns point to an obstacle in your own psyche, like a number 111 every time you feel doubt, address it. The universe is asking you to grow, not coddling you. This isn't wishful thinking either. If you set a heartfelt intention and watch for signs, the results can be astonishing. Studies in therapy show those who name their dreams often make them real. Jung treated synchronicity seriously as a tool, and you should, too. Transformation means letting these events change you. Perhaps a stranger's kindness appears just as you decided to forgive someone. Maybe a book falls off the shelf with the exact answer you need. These are nudges to say, open up, trust, evolve. The great Tesla pointed out that the more we know, the more we become conscious of our limitations. Embrace that. Every synchronistic sign says, there's more to this world than your mind knew, and it's calling you forward. Each revelation peels back one more layer of the veil. Let them pierce your armor. Let them humble your pride. Let them guide you out of the maze of solitude. For in each spark of synchronicity is a whisper, you are part of something luminous and vast. 12. The final wake-up call. This journey offers no warm blanket of certainty. At the end, there is only the mirror, a confrontation with yourself. You find no comfortable explanation, only deeper questions. Perhaps the last revelation is the simplest and hardest, that the authority you sought outside lies within you. The voice that reads these words back to itself is the same voice that has been speaking in coincidences all along. In the final scene, there is no neatly tied bow. Instead, you stand at the doorway of wisdom with a question in your eyes, what now? The old world has dropped away, you know too much to return. You are a stranger in a world of automatons, but the truth is your only companion. So here's the last echo of this forbidden library. I will give you what no eye has seen, and what no ear has heard. What you are looking for exists beyond ordinary sight. Reality has been talking to you all along, but you must now choose who it is you will listen to from here on. The system wants to sleep, but you cannot unlearn what you have learned. This is your final wake-up call. The silence after these words is deafening. There is no soothing moral, no promise of safety. Only this, from now on, you hold the pen. Reality is the page. Will you write with the knowing of Thoth, or will you pretend not to see the hidden text at all? The choice and the question are yours.